back for Unbillable. I believe this is volume 2. Today I thought we'd talk about the most common question I get, which is about contracts. People all have a lot of misconceptions about contracts, about what's required to have an enforceable contract. By far and away, the number one misconception is that a contract has to be in writing. That's just not true. Oral agreements are enforceable under California law, so you can have a purely oral contract. Now, in my opinion, and I believe any lawyer worth their weight will tell you, if you plan on enforcing the terms of an agreement, you should probably have that agreement in writing. And the reason's very simple. If you want to enforce something against somebody, you better have a way of proving that they promised to do those things. And you better believe amnesia comes into play, right? In other words, when somebody has failed to perform the way they've promised, they right away forget that they ever promised you to do that. The best tool you have to show that they made that promise is something in writing. So a contract doesn't have to be in writing to be enforceable, but the odds of enforcing that contract are much better when they're in writing. So if you're contracting with people, you don't have to put it in writing, but if you want to enforce those terms, I would strongly recommend that you do put them in writing. So now that we understand it doesn't have to be in writing, the real question becomes, what do we need in order to have an enforceable contract? And while most people think there's only one or two parts to that, there's really three. Three parts, three things you need to have a contract, and those three things are an offer, an acceptance, and consideration. An offer. What's an offer? Well, you got to tell someone you're willing to do something for something else, right? I'll give you $10 for that pack of pencils. That might be a little ridiculous. Maybe I'll give you $25 for that $50 iTunes gift card. That sounds like a little bit of a better deal, right? So my offer is to give you the $25 in exchange for your $50 iTunes gift card. So that's the first piece, an offer. The second piece is acceptance. If you're the person that has that $50 iTunes gift card, are you willing to accept the $25 cash? Maybe you need the money. Maybe you don't need the iTunes card. Maybe you have plenty of iTunes money. Who knows? At the end of the day, the bottom line becomes, are you willing to accept it? Will you say yes? You have an offer for $25 cash in exchange for your $50 iTunes gift card. Maybe that's something you're willing to do, maybe not. If it is, you say yes, I accept. If it's not, you say no and reject. Assuming you accept, you have an offer. I'll give you $25 for that $50 iTunes gift card. You have acceptance, I accept. Are those two things enough for a contract? Most people think yes, and the answer is actually no. If you listened earlier, I said there are three parts to a contract: offer, acceptance, and consideration. So what exactly is consideration? Consideration is that bargained for exchange. It's that I'll give you something in exchange for you giving me something. So in the example I'm using here today, I'll give you a $25 in cash and you'll give me a $50 iTunes gift card. Is that a bargain for exchange? Am I giving something? Am I receiving something? Sounds like it is to me, and that's a contract. So you need an offer, an acceptance, and a consideration, and that's a contract. Do you have to have it in writing? No, you don't. But is it a good idea to have it in writing? Yes, it is. So remember, when it comes to contracting, offer, acceptance, consideration, that's all you need. You don't technically have to have it in writing, but it might be a good idea if you plan on enforcing. So there you have it. The basics to California contract law: offer, acceptance, consideration. We touched on things in writing, and of course there's a lot more to this than just these small provisions, but with this information, at least you're getting smart and you're onto the right track. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe below. I'd love to answer any direct questions that you might have for me, and if you have any comments of any kind, I'd love to read them and respond. So don't be afraid to reach out and write something below. Like I said, we'd love to get back to you. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you at future episodes of Unbillable.